What is up, y'all? Capone Tony here, and welcome to another Ever Crisis video, and welcome to week 3 of this current limit break event going on right now, the Don Corneo Cup. This is our third banner in this event, and the banner this week is going to be Cloud, the Cloud in a dress. Iconic, right? Iconic stuff right here. And we also have a couple other updates to go through as well in this video. But like I always do, we are going to start this video reviewing the new Cloud banner. So let's check it out. So classic dress for Cloud. Let's check it out. Oh my gosh. Looking pretty hot, right? It's iconic, man. It's Cloud in a dress. Look at the umbrella. It's like a perfect match with the colors of his dress, the blue and the purple. Like the bow in his hair, the black bow, the little pink bows and the pigtails. It's iconic, right? It's classic dress Cloud. So let's check this out. So ultra soaring rose here for the classic dress on the C ability does 2000% physical non-elemental damage to all enemies. Also applies status ailment torpor. Oh, so torpor, yeah. It's a 7-second torpor to all enemies, so 50% damage increase while they are in that torpor state. This is a pretty big deal because Tifa was the only character in the game before this that could use torpor. She had capability of using it twice if you had her weapon OB10, or just once if you didn't have it OB10. So yeah, 2 characters now that you can possibly run at the same time with torpor, and that's a pretty damn big deal, so that's really nice. ATB boost all allies on the R ability. It's at what, 15 points, so all allies are going to start the battle with 1.5 extra ATB. You know, nothing crazy, but it's fine. Maiden's Grace is an Omni Arcanum, so fire, ice, lightning, earth, water, wind damage plus 30% and 15% HP. So yeah, Omni Arcanum and ATB boost at the beginning with torpor. I think it's a pretty damn good costume here for Cloud. Very, very nice. So yeah, let's look at the Noble Parasol now. Does Soaring Rose. So at OB0, we're looking at a 4 ATB usage with 600% physical non-elemental damage to all enemies. Also applies status ailment single target received single target physical damage received up 25%, and then you get the magic damage received up 25% as well. And you get a haste for 10 seconds to all allies. And you're getting boost attack all allies, boost ability potency, B attack, magic attack, and circle sigil boost. So kind of a weapon that can use both ways. You can use it with a physical or magic builds. So versatility here. OB1, mainly you're just getting a little extra duration to all these buffs and debuffs. That's pretty much the main difference. A little bit extra in the R abilities as well. So OB6, you're at the single and magic target damage received up. It goes from 25% to 40%, so that's a pretty significant boost. Your haste AOE also goes up another 5 seconds. Elemental damage, I'm not going to keep mentioning this because elemental damage, or non-elemental damage, is just garbage. I kind of wish they would just get rid of non-elemental damage in this game because it's just so useless. Like, instead of this, just make it like some kind of lower elemental damage, right? You know, just something that, anything that's elemental would be nice instead of non-elemental, which is worthless. Okay, rant aside. The boost attack, all allies, and boost ability potency, 4330. And is this just, yeah, it's a +2 circle sigil. OB10, you get up to 50% on the single target and magic target damage received up status. Technically, it's like a debuff. And then haste goes to 20 seconds now. So you get a first use of haste all allies for 20 seconds at OB10. Pretty cool. And yeah, that on paper, you look at this and like, you know, that's fine, right? You know, Sephiroth already had this for his, what was it, New Year's weapon, right? It was his, the first character to get this damage received up stuff, you know, applying it to the enemies. This is all enemies, by the way, which is good. Sephiroth had this, adult Sephiroth, so that is a very good, you know, ability. But now what makes this weapon really good? The customization. So let's look at the Spade Custom. At OB, we'll do OB6 for this, because I'd say OB6 is kind of like, you know, a really good sweet spot for this weapon. So when you look at what the Spade Custom does here, you get Enliven is applied to all allies. So that is very, very significant because now we have a second character, not counting Lucia's ultimate. You have a second character now that does Enliven AOE, which is very, very nice. Zach was the first character to get Enliven, and it turned him into automatically just so much better, you know, as a character. Even as just being used as a support character, it made him very, very good. Now you have Cloud with this ability that Sephiroth's had for a while, and now you have Enliven to combine with that, which is very, very nice. So the Diamond Custom, though, it's, you know, quintessential interruption, all, you know, enemies or whatever, you know, more damage when you're interrupt the enemy, break their sigil phase. This is on a lot of weapons already, so I don't think this is going to be used that much. So Enliven with the Spade Custom, I think, is going to be used a lot if you're actually running this weapon with Cloud. So yeah, with the single target, we'll say you get this to OB10, right? With the Spade Custom. So you're at 50% potency on this. So 50% physical or magical. Or, I mean, you're applying both, but realistically, you're going to be running a team that's going to be physical or magical in most scenarios. Then you're going to have the AOE Haste, which is also, you know, that's always going to be nice for the first use. And then you get Enliven. So Enliven, I've kind of explained this before. The maximum damage output you can receive from Enliven is boosting your physical and magic attack, as well as your elemental potency potency, whatever. So if you have an elemental potency up tier 3 or a physical magic attack up tier 3, and you apply Enliven, you're going to get essentially a 60% damage boost to every character in the party that has those buffs applied. So the maximum potential from this offhand weapon here for Cloud, which, yeah, I feel like it's going to be a new offhand weapon for him, is 110%. So you're getting 50% from here, and you're getting 60% from Enliven, you know, if you have the buffs you need applied to get the most out of Enliven. And also Enliven is obviously going to work on all buffs. So your physical damage or physical defense up, your magic defense up, elemental resistance up. That's going to also benefit from Enliven, not just the physical buffs. So yeah, Enliven is extremely good. Zach, I used him a lot since I pulled his Enliven weapon. It's been very, very powerful, very good for even just using him as a support for many teams. He's been very, very good. And yeah, now Cloud has the ability to do physical magic damage received up with Enliven, has the maximum capabilities just from these buffs alone to apply 110% extra damage to a physical team or a magical team, as well as, you know, boosting your existing defensive buffs as well. So I know you're probably asking the question, if you already have his 2-year anniversary weapon, his Advent Children Fusion Sword, do I really need this, right? Because Fusion Sword is still very, very, very good. That's the thing this weapon is going to be compared against, right? A lot of people, including myself, thought Fusion Sword might be his forever type of offhand, right? So you look at Fusion Sword. I have it OB10 because this thing is extremely jacked. It was extremely jacked back then. It's still pretty good right now. So the difference with Fusion Sword is you're getting physical and magic weapon boost, you know, just buffs that only apply to himself. So he's getting a 40% buff from physical and magic, and he's also getting he's just getting a self-exploit weakness. So technically it's an 80% damage buff to only himself at OB10. So, you know, exploit weakness along with physical or magic weapon boost combine some 80% essentially for a physical or magic. So, yeah, it's still really, really good. Even at OB6 though, on his newest weapon, you're technically getting 100%, I believe. So let's go back to his newest weapon real quick. So let's go to OB6 here with the Spade Custom. Yeah, you're getting 40% here, and Enliven can have a potential to go to extra 60%, you know, as long as you have the buffs you need applied already. So this has better capabilities, and not, you know, the thing with his Fusion Sword is those buffs are only applying to Cloud himself, right? This is actually an AOE buff and debuff that everyone in your party is going to benefit from. That's the other difference with Parasol versus Fusion Sword. And you got to look at it from a multiple, different ways too. So like, let's say you already have Sephiroth's weapon, that you're already doing a lot of this stuff right here. It's be like, oh, I don't really need Cloud because I already have Sephiroth doing that. Or another, scenario is you already have Zac. You already have Zac built out with Enliven, and his Enliven also does an AoE exploit weakness. So his is actually doing a lot of stuff already, and running Cloud and Zac at the same time would be kind of redundant because, you have two characters doing Enliven when you don't really need that. So it might be better to use Zac with his Enliven weapon and use Cloud with Fusion Sword, right? So that's the thing here. I feel like this weapon might not replace Fusion Sword on all scenarios. It kind of just depends on how you build your team, right? If you have if you're using another character that already is using some of these buffs already, or like a Zac or a Sephiroth, you might not need to use this weapon. But the thing is, if you pull on this weapon and you are using it, it gives you a lot more flexibility to use other characters. You don't have to use a Sephiroth. You don't have to use Zac in some scenarios. So that's what I feel is good about pulling multiple weapons that do the same type of stuff. A lot more team building variety, right? So yeah, you're not just going to be forced to use Zac with Enliven all the time. Or you could just do that if you want to, right? It really just depends on how you want to build your team, how you want to, if you feel like you can't pull super deep on this banner, then it's like, oh, I'll just use Zac and I'm okay with that. And that's fine too, especially if you already have Fusion Sword. So, yeah, there's a lot to consider here. Me personally, I think if you're a Cloud main, I still think this weapon is worth grabbing to OB6 if you have the crystals for it. And you have the weapon parts and stuff are ready to get it to OB6 easier. At minimum, I would say getting the costume, I think, is definitely worth it. If you're a Cloud main, I think grabbing the costume is absolutely at least worth pulling a page, because the Torpor alone. Torpor is already fantastic. I think I don't have another Omni Arcanum for Cloud, and I think that would actually really help me, in other scenarios. I could get a little bit more extra elemental damage from this R ability, because I don't have a secondary Arcanum or a second Omni Arcanum for Cloud. So I think, having that alone would help me a lot too. Not just the Torpor. I think pulling this just for Torpor is worth it alone, in itself, if you're a Cloud main. So yeah, I would say there's a couple tiers to this. I'd say pull to the costume and you're okay with that. You already have Fusion Sword, like a good Fusion Sword, like an OB10 Fusion Sword. Then it feels like, oh, I don't really need to get this weapon to OB10. That's a scenario you can go with. I would say if you want to get the most out of this weapon, or at least enough out of this weapon, I would say at least try to get Parasol to OB6 with the costume. And that should be good enough, right? It gives you essentially 100% damage boost for the whole party. Even it's it might not be used all the time. You might have those scenarios where you might benefit to use Fusion Sword instead, if you have other characters in your party that are doing some of these buffs and debuffs already, which I already mentioned those characters that do those buffs and debuffs, Zac and Sephiroth. So yeah, just a couple ways to look at it. But for me personally, I'm going to pull on this. I think the costume is definitely worth grabbing, and I think getting this weapon here to at least OB6 is definitely worth it. Is it worth grabbing at a low overboost? Potentially as well, because you're getting 25% from here, from these the damage received up buffs or debuffs, as well as the Enliven for 40 seconds. You actually get 40 seconds of Enliven at a low overboost with the Spade Custom. So that's actually not too shabby either. So if you don't even have Fusion Sword, I think grabbing this weapon even at OB1 is, worth it as well. And you're going to be guaranteed to get OB1 if you pull on the costume. So it's pretty nice, right? So yeah, for me personally, I think I'm probably going to pull 2 pages, maybe a little bit less than that. If if I get really, really good luck, I might try to push OB10, but I think OB6 is something I would personally be okay with when it comes to this weapon. So yeah, that's pretty much going to do it for the Cloud banner. What do y'all think of this weapon? Is it going to, do you think it's really good? Do you think it automatically replaces Fusion Sword? Do you think Fusion Sword is still good enough if you already have it? You don't really need to go deep on this weapon. especially if you have other weapons like the Zac weapon that does Enliven and the Sephiroth weapon that does the damage up received stuff, right? Let me know in the comment section below what you think of all this. But yeah, I think I'm going to be pulling this one. You have until June 3rd to make that decision, so you got a decent amount of time. The other 2 banners expire on May 27th, and yeah, that's pretty much all I got for this banner. So yeah, are y'all going to pull on this Cloud banner? Let me know in the comment section below. So yeah, that's going to do it for Cloud. Let's check out the rest of the notices now regarding the updates for this week. So this was a couple days ago. Guild Battle 23 is on right now. You got Earth physical attacks are effective. So you got your Odin 1.5 anniversary Tifa, that she's going to be very powerful for this. You got your Near Cloud. He is, I think, one of the strongest physical earth damage dealers in the game already. And then I guess you combine his new weapon with that weapon, it's going to be very, very good. And then you have also the newest Sephiroth too, the Immaculate Blade Sephiroth. He is going to be very powerful for this. So yeah, I think those are your 3 best bets when it comes to DPSs for this battle. Then when it comes to supports, you got a lot of different characters that can do your Earth buffs and your Earth debuffs, like your Angeals, your Glens, your Lucias. Aerith's always going to be good. Zac's always going to be good for support. So a lot of options there when it comes to support. I will probably do a guild battle video when this actually, I might not be able to because I'm going to be I think I'm going to be busy. We'll see. We'll talk about that. But anyway, guild battle is coming up. Is it next week? Yeah, May 20th is the starting period. All right, so other than that, we got Red Crystal banner for Cloud again. I don't typically go through this. It's the same banner, but red crystals only. That kind of, I think, help the whales and the krakens get to OB10 much faster. I think that's how that works. Not for the light spinners or free-to-play players. All right, so Behemoth Steward Hunt is on right now. I think it's a reawakened one. Yeah. This guy was weak to Earth as well. So Behemoth Steward Hunt. Let's see. You got your solos, you got your co-ops. Knock all those out. Then you check out the victory draws. You can get your bronze and silver tickets. Let's look at the prize details for this and see what goodies we're going to get. We're going to get our customizers, your gotcha tickets, your customization kits. What are the weapon parts are we going to get for this? I don't see anything for bronze for weapon parts, so I assume that's on the silver portion. Let's check it out. So the silver portion, you're going to get Pristine Mithril. That's good. Are there any weapon parts at all here? Are there no weapon parts? Or am I tripping? There are typically weapon parts, aren't there, for the bronze and the silver? I don't see any. That kind of sucks. Typically we get weapon parts. I thought we at least get weapon parts on bronze and silver. If not, that is pretty disappointing. Come on, Applebot. Well, anyway, farm out the event like we always do. Get all the stuff that is in there, and yeah, that is, you know, the thing we typically do for these events. Grind them out and get all the stuff. So that is Behemoth Steward Hunt. Reawaken Critical Threat. All right, next thing here. Frenzy Battle. So go to the events, scroll all the way down. You don't want to miss this. They kind of hit it all the way in the back. So the Frenzy Battle here for our hunt last time, the mother, whatever, forgot the name, but just give this Cactuar a nice smack here. Ruin, good enough. And by doing that, you will get, what, I think 1,000 blue crystals? 1,000 blue crystals. So yeah, don't forget to do this. They kind of hit it at the very back of all the events. So get your free 1,000 blue crystals. Do that as soon as possible. So let's check it out. Give me my 1,000 blue crystals. We're at 81,000. Pretty good shape here. So we got new panel missions as well. Wonder if that's mentioned anywhere in here. I don't see it. So yeah, looks like we have new panel missions. So self-explanatory stuff. You will get pristine mithril, 10 of those by just knocking out these panel missions. So yeah, pretty easy. Go ahead and knock those out. Outside of that, I think we have what is this? Something about iOS and iPad OS. I think if you're on a certain beta version of iOS or iPad OS, the app may crash while attempting to log in. So, yeah, if you're an Apple user, you might have problems. So, just something to note. Outside of that, I think that is pretty much it for this week when it comes to the content. Something I think I also forgot to do. Yeah, if you haven't got your pristine mithril, you can just do that real quick. So you can do this once a week. Worth mentioning. So I think that is kind of smack my microphone. It's pretty much going to do it for this week's Ever Crisis content. Are y'all going to pull on the Cloud Banner? What do y'all think of the Cloud Banner, especially when you compare it to his already existing fusion sword? I think it's still really, really damn good and really worth grabbing, but you know, can kind of have a more different point of views from other players. So yeah, let me know what y'all think. Anyway, that's going to do it for this Ever Crisis video. If y'all found this Ever Crisis content helpful or entertaining, please give this video a like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all on the next one. Later.